Joining us now, New York Post reporter John Levine, former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi, the first woman to hold that position in the state, and the author of Trial of the Century, Fox News legal analyst Gregg Jarrett. Panel, I'd like to dive right into the last point I was addressing with Professor Turley. John, let's start with you. Your report at the New York Post, the paper that was vilified and censored from Twitter for 2 whole weeks in the throes of a presidential campaign, all because you told the truth. You reported a story about Hunter Biden's laptop, and you really paid the price, as did the First Amendment. How does it feel today? What's the buzz at the newspaper, really, knowing that at the highest levels, ex-CIA chiefs, the now Secretary of State, were in, the fix was in with them at the top, coordinating a talking point for a political exercise?
It's great to be with you, Kellyanne. I mean, the word is vindication, although we always knew it was true, though everything we published was true from the first day, so there's really nothing to vindicate from our end, but at least the general public is now aware. These emails between Brennan and Morell are a smoking gun. It is proof that the letter that they wrote saying the laptop was Russian disinformation was baloney. They knew it was a political hit job instigated by the Biden campaign. And they said at the time that this was some organic expression of their true feelings, and that was bogus, we now learn. And you know, it's such a terrible violation of the public trust because, you expect politicians to be political. No one is going to deny Joe Biden the right to be political, or the Biden campaign. But these are people we trust with our government and to be neutral and nonpartisan. And for them to be so weaponized in this way, I don't know how we come back from this.
It's a great point. And Pam Bondi, you've seen your way into many courtrooms. You're Attorney General of Florida and a legal expert. I have to ask you, though, some of these, of the 51 who signed on to the letter, currently have TV contracts at other networks. 3 of them got jobs in the Biden-Harris administration. And I'm going to surmise that some of them still have national security clearances. Walk us through that.
Yeah, and Kellyanne, look at their credibility in future cases. Just like you said, they have security clearance. It's unbelievable to me how they can ever be credible in any case, any investigation. Who will believe them again? We know the deep state. We always talk about the deep state is so far left. And this was collusion between the Democrat Party and former directors of our highest foreign intelligence agency in the country working in concert to impact not just any election, but a presidential election. And they didn't give Biden just simple talking points. He used these loud and clear in a presidential debate, citing these people that we now know gave false statements, and everything in that laptop was real.
It was an incredible moment, panel, because today I rewatched that clip between Trump and Biden when Trump's saying, oh, this is another Russia hoax, and Biden is really pretty angry that anybody's mentioning the laptop and hides behind this letter. So, Gregg Jarrett, you've been at this for a long time, and you've been right about so much regarding this. I wanted to ask you a little bit, though, about this testimony that we can expect in the coming weeks from James Brennan, and John Brennan and James Clapper. That seems very serious to me. This isn't just punditry. This isn't just, oh, you threw a presidential election by lying on behalf of Joe Biden. I mean, this thing is really starting to metastasize.
Well, James Clapper lied to Congress before under oath and managed to escape prosecution. What's so astonishing about all this is how easy it was for Mike Morell to round up 50 liars in the intel community, more than happy to deceive the American people, help Joe Biden get elected based on a lie. They completely invented the false claim that the laptop was Russian disinformation without a scrap of actionable intelligence. No discussion, just sign your name and we'll help conceal Biden corruption. So, it's no surprise that the Biden campaign was secretly behind this, Tony Blinken, and the confessed purpose was to give him a talking point to use in the presidential debate. They were dumb enough, believe it or not, to put it all in writing. So these unprincipled, unscrupulous people like Brennan, Clapper, Leon Panetta, they help the Bidens cover up their get-rich schemes with foreign adversaries in what is essentially the selling out of America. None of them have any regrets, never apologizing. This is one of the dirtiest tricks in American politics. And you're right, the lie was pivotal. Polling data shows 17% of Biden voters would have cast their ballots differently had they known the truth. So, you know, these people deprived American voters from making an informed decision, and they helped throw a presidential election.
Yes, we found real election interference there. John Levine, it is true that people didn't know last time, but they will know this time. So if people are focused on the fact that the contents of the laptop are real, and let me make very clear, I don't need to see another naked pic of Hunter Biden in my life. We're talking about the big guy. We're talking about the juice in there and what James Comer is uncovering in House Oversight. So if people know at this time, do you think it actually will matter to voters?
I expect Hunter Biden will be a major, major campaign issue. And trust me, I don't want to see any more naked pictures of Hunter Biden either. That's never what this has been about. That's what
right.
The Biden campaign will try and spin this. Oh, the Republicans are picking on my son, and he has a drug problem like so many Americans. This is not about Hunter Biden. This is about Joe Biden. And this is about whether the President of the United States is compromised because of his exposure to his son's foreign business dealings. And it's also it's about truthfulness. It's about honesty.
Yes.
President Biden said this was fake information when he knew it wasn't. I mean, he obviously was aware of what his son was up to. So there's going to be real questions of moral character going into this race that he's going to have to answer for. No question about it.
I agree with you. There's been a lot of transparency and accountability to come. Pam, you, in addition to being a legal expert, won statewide elections. And I want to ask you if you were at all surprised to seeing the 3-minute re-election announcement video by Joe Biden, no mention of any of the bills that he signed into law, no bragging about his policy accomplishments. I was really struck that he showed a lot of footage of January 6th and MAGA this and Trump that. Kamala Harris is featured 13 times in 3 minutes, but not allowed to speak. I thought that was kind of poetic justice. Right. But what do you see that they're going to actually run on to win a second term?
That they're anti-MAGA, they're anti-Republican, because they have no accomplishments, as we all know, in these last years. And they're going to attack President Trump, but it doesn't work, because the America First policies are what saved this country and will save this country again. They're all that can save this country again. And, you know, I applaud James Comer and Jim Jordan. If we hadn't taken back the House, Kellyanne, none of this would have been coming to light right now. And the truth will prevail, and I think Americans are seeing it, and Hunter Biden will be a big, big part of this campaign, and so will Joe Biden. You're right. Those House committee chairmen are doing a great job, as did Speaker McCarthy, calling the White House's bluffs over this debt ceiling. I'll interview Senator Britt a little bit later. Right. Gregg Jarrett, speaking of Chairman Comer, his interview with our Sean Hannity last night was pretty remarkable for what he said at the end. He said he knows which country was at the center of the scheme. He can't say, but I bet you will. What did you make of that?
Well, there's so many to choose from, because the Bidens were making millions of dollars from so many different countries over which Joe Biden had control of foreign policy as vice president. Ukraine, China, Russia, Oman, Romania, Kazakhstan, the list goes on and on. The betting line in Washington is Ukraine. But I will say that if this latest whistleblower claim against Joe Biden is true, and if it's supported by credible evidence, I mean, this arguably constitutes bribery under our federal statutes and a separate felony under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. But it also qualifies as an impeachable offense, treason and bribery. And given all of the other Biden influence peddling schemes with foreign adversaries, it does, as Chairman Comer says, match a pattern of corruption by the Biden. I think I pick Ukraine as the likely suspect. Hunter was on the payroll there, raking in $11 million. You'll recall Joe Biden bragging on camera how he extorted the Ukrainians into firing a prosecutor, inventing his son's company by threatening to withhold $1 billion in American financial aid. The central question is, will Chairman Comer get his hands on this document, or will the Department of Justice and the FBI do what they always do, obstruct?
Yes, they do. Wow. I mean, I thought all along Joe Biden would be the nominee, but the more I hear about these growing legal woes of him and his son, you do have to wonder. Just quickly from each of you, do you think Joe Biden will be the presidential nominee for the Democrats next year, John?
Oh, I think absolutely. I think they're on this train, and the horse has left the barn, and they're committed to it.
Yes, I agree. But Pam?
I do too. Unfortunately for the country, but I think good for the Republican Party.
Yeah, Greg?
They've reworked and fixed the primary system to favor him. He will hide out in the equivalent of his Delaware basement, taking a page out of Richard Nixon. Oh, I'm too busy to campaign and debate. I'm trying to save America. I guarantee you that's going to be their strategy.
4 for 4, unanimous agreement that Joe Biden will be the nominee. I'll add another reason. He picked as his vice presidential running mate one of the 3 people in America who couldn't upstage him. So it's not like they have a big bench to choose from. John Levine, Pam Bondi, Gregg Jarrett, fantastic panel. Thank you so much.